Hello. In this video, I'm going to explain the 3 reasons why daily prayer is goal number 7 from the back burner. Welcome, my name is David Teague, and this is From the Back Burner. And the whole purpose of this channel is for me to share my goals from the back burner that I'm bringing forward and focusing on. And I want to bring them into this channel and follow up with them as well to help me be accountable. So this channel acts as my accountability partner, and so far it's been going very well. So this is goal number 7, and this video is going to introduce daily prayer, which is the first goal that I'm doing that is related to faith. The first 5 goals were all related to physical health in some way, and then goal 6 was about responsibility and duty and keeping up on the things that are important and taking care of my things and etc. And then this is now going to be a faith goal, daily prayer. And so there are 3 big reasons why this is an important goal for me. Reason number 1 is that life is war. And that's a quote from this book, Let the Nations Be Glad, which is by John Piper. And so definitely check out his books. I'll put a link to this one in the description. I'm going to read just a couple sentences from chapter 2, which is on prayer. He says, life is war, which is where I got this from. But he says, that is not all it is, but it is always that. Our weakness in prayer is owing largely to our neglect of this truth. And prayer is primarily a wartime walkie-talkie for the mission of the church as it advances against the powers of darkness and unbelief. And then he continues a sentence later, God has given us prayer as a wartime walkie-talkie so that we can call headquarters for everything we need as the kingdom of Christ advances in the world. So the main takeaway, at least for that particular section that I read, is that life is war and prayer is our main communication with God as we engage the world as Christians. And, of course, I am a Christian, and so, if you're not a Christian, then just bear with this. It shouldn't be too offensive to hear. Prayer is a big deal because life is war. And so I want prayer to be the first thing I do as far as faith goals, because before anything else, I need to be in communication with and have a good relationship with God. And so I like that analogy that life is war because it creates a certain serious tone for prayer that I think is often missing. At least it has been for me in the past. And so as I re-engage prayer in my life and systematically create it as a consistent part of my life, that's going to be something I keep in mind, is that life is war. Number 2 reason prayer is goal number 7 is that prayer is natural. What do I mean by prayer is natural? I mean that basically, whether you're religious, faithful, spiritual, or completely atheistic or agnostic, whatever it is, prayer somehow finds its way into most people's lives. And, if you want to argue that it hasn't in yours, that's fine. You just have to look around the world. Even now and throughout history, prayer's kind of everywhere. So it's a natural thing. And you've got, classic examples of this where people might say that a difficult test in school can make someone pray, like, Lord, please, I need a good grade on this test. And now all of a sudden somebody's praying because they're in a difficult situation with their test. There's this story about a man who gets his foot stuck into some railroad tracks, and he starts to pray to God, like, Lord, please help me get my foot unstuck. This, just give me this one thing, God, because I'm going to die. And if you just save me, help me get this foot free, then I'll dedicate my life to you. But then as he's praying, his foot wiggles free. And he says, oh, God, never mind. I got it. And he walks off. And so, it's just a good story for lots of reasons. But all that to say, prayer is a natural thing that even somebody who doesn't ever pray can sometimes naturally find themselves calling out or appealing to a larger power. So there's that. And then thirdly, and more importantly, is that prayer is biblical. And to be honest, just the fact that Jesus prayed is enough for me, because as a Christian, we model ourselves after Christ. And so if Jesus himself prayed, what more reason do you need? But in addition to that, there are numerous scripture verses about prayer and its importance, and it really is something that Christians definitely ought to be doing. So, but if you don't want to get into the verses and all the, literal, if you don't want to talk about how God's Bible, His Word, literally says to pray, then just look at Christ Himself who prayed, and you should just pray for that reason. So that's enough for me. So basically, life is a war, prayer is natural, and prayer is biblical. And those are three very good reasons, in my opinion, for me to begin to integrate prayer into my life as part of a regular habit. And I'm ashamed to say it hasn't been up until this point, because life is busy, life is difficult, and oftentimes things like prayer get pushed to the back burner because you're doing other things that seem more urgent and more pressing. But it really is true that nothing could be more urgent or pressing than prayer, because life is war, and even Jesus Himself prayed. So please subscribe to this channel and come back for the follow-up, because I'm going to follow up in 1 week on how the praying went, as well as probably a couple weeks after that, and I'll just continue to follow up. And I'm following up on all of my goals, so please look around for other goals that might resonate with you, and just see, it helps me that you see those, because this helps me stay accountable. So thank you, and I will see you at the next checkpoint.